Scholasticism stands as a significant intellectual movement that shaped medieval Europe, characterized by its unique attempt to harmonize Christian theology with the classical philosophy of ancient Greece. This synthesis sought to explore profound questions about existence, knowledge, and the divine through a rigorous method of inquiry and debate, deeply influencing the educational, theological, and philosophical landscape of its time. Historical context and influences. Emerging in the early Middle Ages, scholasticism developed in a period marked by the consolidation of political power, the expansion of the Church's influence, and the founding of universities. The rediscovery of Aristotle's works, often mediated through Islamic scholars such as Averroes, provided a substantial intellectual foundation. The Church Fathers, particularly Augustine of Hippo, also provided a theological backdrop that would be woven into scholastic thought. Methodology and approach. Central to scholasticism was the dialectical method, a structured form of argumentation that sought to resolve contradictions through reasoned discourse. This method involved posing a question, presenting arguments and counter-arguments, and synthesizing these into a coherent conclusion. Such a process not only aimed to elucidate theological doctrines, but also sought to achieve a deeper understanding of the natural world and human existence. Scholastic scholars often engaged in writing extensive commentaries on classical texts. These commentaries did not merely explicate the original works, but also integrated contemporary theological insights. By engaging deeply with the texts of Aristotle and others, scholastic thinkers aimed to uncover universal truths that aligned with Christian doctrine. Major figures and contributions. Thomas Aquinas is perhaps the most renowned scholastic philosopher. His magnum opus, Summa Theologica, represents a comprehensive effort to systematize theology using Aristotelian philosophy. Aquinas argued that reason and faith are not mutually exclusive, but rather complementary paths to truth. His 5 ways, arguments for the existence of God, exemplify his method of using rational inquiry to support theological claims. Anselm of Canterbury, another pivotal figure, is known for his ontological argument for God's existence. This argument, rooted in the very concept of God as a being greater than which nothing can be conceived, exemplifies the scholastic endeavor to use rational thought to explore and affirm faith. Peter Abelard contributed significantly to the development of scholasticism through his work in logic and ethics. His sic et non, yes and no, presented opposing views on various theological questions, encouraging a critical examination of seemingly contradictory positions to uncover deeper truths. Educational institutions and legacy. The rise of universities in medieval Europe provided a fertile ground for scholasticism. Institutions such as the University of Paris became centers for scholastic thought, attracting scholars from across the continent. These universities institutionalized the scholastic method, fostering an environment where rigorous debate and intellectual inquiry were paramount. The influence of scholasticism extended beyond theology. It laid the groundwork for the development of systematic theology, a structured approach to understanding and articulating religious beliefs. Its emphasis on reasoned argumentation also contributed to the broader intellectual tradition of the West, influencing the Renaissance and the Enlightenment. Decline and enduring influence. Scholasticism began to decline in the late Middle Ages with the rise of humanism and the new scientific methods of the Renaissance. The humanists' focus on classical texts and the empirical approach of the emerging scientific community presented challenges to the scholastic emphasis on dialectical reasoning and theological synthesis. However, the legacy of scholasticism endures. Its methodological rigor and commitment to integrating faith and reason continue to be relevant in contemporary philosophical and theological discussions. Modern philosophy and theology often revisit scholastic arguments and methods, finding in them a valuable resource for addressing enduring questions about existence, knowledge, and the divine. Scholasticism represents a remarkable chapter in the history of philosophy, where the quest for truth was pursued through a harmonious interplay of faith and reason. This medieval intellectual tradition not only shaped the thought of its own time, but also laid the foundations for future philosophical and theological explorations.